Hello, Piney sixth graders, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching. First things first, we have our champions from last week's trivia question on the Zoom chats. We had Jackson, Sierra, Max, Isabella T, Cam, Rachel, and Jack. There's your shout out. Good work, folks. We'll have another one coming at you this week on a different but equally exciting topic, or maybe even more. All right. Other old business, I want to thank you all who completed those Ed puzzles last week. I did leave a comment, at least one, on everybody's answers, so don't forget to log back in and look at your assignments and see what that was. If you haven't done them yet, they'll still be in your Ed puzzle queue, your list of assignments to do, so go ahead and please take care of that. Folks, for this week, what we have going on, we're going to take fronts and multiply it by 4. Last week we learned about 1, the cold front. Okay, it's the most important, but here's the thing. It's really not 4 times as much work because once you know about air masses and cold fronts, really you know as much of the basics as you need to add on some other stuff. So to review, and I've got my amazing model of planet Earth here because I don't have my globe, it's at school. Okay, there are air masses on planet Earth, okay, and they move around. Okay, so you might have a cold, dry air mass sitting over Canada. You might have a warm, humid air mass sitting over the Gulf of Mexico, but they don't stay there, they move around. Okay, and when they collide, where air masses meet, we call those fronts. So last week you learned about cold fronts, which is when a mass of cold air comes in and blasts into a mass of warm air gets shoved up. Well, today you're going to learn about 3 other types of fronts. You'll learn about a warm front, which is basically the opposite, and that's when warm air comes in and pushes cold air out. But it's a little less violent because the warm air kind of rises gently over the cold air as it's pushing it out because the cold air is denser, it stays down low. So you have a gentler front there. The other 2 types of fronts are kind of bizarre. They really are. Have you ever heard of a stationary bicycle? A stationary bicycle. Those are those bicycles that people ride in one place. They stay in one place. They're stationary. And a stationary front is when you have 2 fronts, one warm, one cold, that aren't very strong. And they kind of meet up against each other and then don't go anywhere. You might say, oh, wow, that sounds like a real battle royale, pretty ferocious. But actually, the reason they don't go anywhere is because both of them are pretty similar in terms of how much humidity they have in them and also in their strength. So they're not super powerful and they just kind of deadlock or tie for a few days. Okay, so not one real clear winner, and they call that a stationary front. The last one is, pretty odd too. And that's where you could think of it like a game of tag. One's running after the other. You have in an occluded front, which is the last type, you have a warm front moving this way, and then the cold front is also moving this way, but the cold front's moving faster. So your warm front's moving this way, your cold front's moving that way a little faster, and it kind of pushes it along, okay, and traps it. I can't really show it as well with my hands, but on the weather map and the Ed puzzle, you'll really see how the warm air sort of gets trapped by that cold front that's moving in. So folks, the Ed puzzle today is a little bit longer, right? So I just assigned 1. Okay, the questions go right along with the video. It's just multiple choice. Okay, and a lot of times if you look carefully at the screen when the question is being asked, there is help on the screen for you. Okay, so if hopefully that doesn't feel too bad for you. That's really all I've got for this week. I will say on Wednesday, we'll be taking a break from the Ed puzzles. I know we've been doing a lot of them, but especially today, you'll see why it's such a good tool for me being able to ask questions about lots of different things in one assignment. So as always, hit me up with questions in my email. If you have any, I'm more than happy to help. Really appreciate those of you who are plugging away at your work. We miss you. We like seeing you in person. I really appreciate those of you who are doing work when we can't see you, keeping plugged in with school. So I hope everybody's doing well. Take care, and until next time, see ya.